Coming.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's today's daf? You tell. Where are we? Chov?
Just look up on the Chazara from this morning.
What?
You just look up what the Chazara we had from last night is.
Why? I didn't send out the Chazara?
You did.
No, you repeated yesterday's
I repeated yesterday?
Yeah.
Why didn't somebody tell me that?
Someone tried.
Oh, you know why? I know why. Because it didn't transfer from my iPad.
Tacos.
I sent you Zion. Hold on. Let me send it out again.
Whenever I leave, I'll put it. I'll go mobile.
Who's labeled as Uman?
Huh?
That's
Me.
that's from the big
Why
Umaniacs.
do you put up a one? I missed these.
Oh, Kalman.
Rabbi, what's with tomorrow's shir? You're going to be on, Rabbi?
No, my brother's gonna give it tomorrow. The rest of them I'm gonna give.
We'll be on flight.
I won't be here.
1 second. Today's your test, right?
Yes.
The secretary is here. Said,
This is for Jesse. He can't make it tonight, so he asked me to have a l'chaim for everybody.
who can't make it?
Jesse.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Kalman has to eat the chewiest food.
I didn't even like
Where's Landau?
Rabbi, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said. Tomorrow you're not on or you are on?
Tomorrow my brother is subbing for
Kalman,
me.
don't worry.
My brother Yisrael.
Tomorrow.
so good.
Yeah. Okay, we ready to roll?
Kalman wants to
Okay,
be
Chazar from yesterday.
Yesterday, I don't want to tell you where I was, and I joined for a minute.
No, I'm not even on.
And then I was hung up on it.
Enjoy whatever it is that you're eating. Okay, we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, Chazara of it starts with relatives of the deceased can't do any mitzvahs, meaning the mitzvah of Aina, not a mitzvah, but the halacha of Aina. A watchman next to if somebody's a shimer for the mace, can't do mitzvahs. Then we discussed about mitzvahs can't be done in a cemetery. A disagreement if we're worried about whether mice, the reason why you need shmira is whether we're afraid that mice might eat the mace. Then how not to transport bones in the Sefer Torah, and the chiyuv to be part of a levaya. If you're passing by, that you have to be part of it. And then there's a machlokes if the dead people know what's going on with the living, and that machlokes takes up most of Amud Beis, and that's basically the entire Amud Beis. All right. So now we're up to Yud Tes Amud Aleph. It's continuing talking about dead people.
Nice.
Yeah, third line down. Amar Rav Yitzchak. Yeah? We're all in? All right. Amar Rav Yitzchak. Call here. You need a Gemara? Call him a saper achar ameis. Anybody who talks lashon hara after a dead person, meaning after he died, ki'ilu mesaper acharei ha'evan. It's as if he's saying it after a stone. Right? There are some that say that they don't know, and some that say that they know but they don't care. Okay, that's the first shot. So the Mason can care less if you say anything negative about him. Oh, what? It sounds like it didn't lashon hara, yeah. That's what I think. Oh, Amar Papa Chad Ishtoi Milsa Basrei the Marshmuel but Nafal Kanya Mitlalo Ubazala Arnako Demaichia. Somebody said bad things about somebody's background is on the thing. Yeah. Somebody said something bad about Shmuel, and then a beam fell into his head and killed him. Yeah. So you see that something bad did happen to a guy who said lashon hara on the mace. So shani tzurim and the kucha berichu tava biyakari. No. So when you say lashon hara about a talmid chacham, then Hashem's going to get upset at you. So then something bad's going to happen to you. But if you stam after a dead person, then it's not a problem. Okay. Right? Anybody who just says anything about after the mita of the meaning after the dead person who happens to be a talmid chacham, he's going to go to Gehenna. Shenemer matam al kalkalosim yelichem Hashem espoilei oven shalom ha'Yisrael. Afilu b'shosh shalom ha'Yisrael yelichem Hashem espoilei oven. Even when there's peace in Yisrael, meaning he's no longer there with us, but there still Hashem could can take or carry away those that do bad things. Okay, so Tana Devei Rabbi Shmuel, Imreisa Talmud Chacham Shavar Aveira Balayla. If you see a Talmud Chacham doing an aveira at night, Al Tahara Acharav, the Yom, don't think negative about him during the day. Shema Asa Tshuva, because perhaps he did Tshuva. So you want to ask Shema Salkadat? It's Shema. It's only perhaps if he's a Talmud Chacham, then of course he's going to do Tshuva. He did something wrong at night, he's going to do Tshuva by the time the night is over. Elavade Asa Tshuva. And the Ivade is going to do Tshuva. But that's only if you see him do something that has to do with the guf, meaning maybe he didn't daven properly or he didn't daven at all, he did something like that. But if something financial, until he gives it back, you can assume, till you know that he gave back the money that it's hard to say that he stole, because then he wouldn't be called a Talmud Chacham. Right? So we'd have to say that until he gives back the money that is in doubt, then you can assume that he did not yet do tshuva.
What does it mean, bevade? It's not bevade. Nothing's bevade. It's a chazaka. I'm saying it's not a bevade.
What's not a bevade?
The Gemara says, is it tzad? The point is you have to down the kav schus, but it doesn't mean that it's a bevade. Right? That's a very striking thing to say.
Well, you can assume a Talmud Chacham.
Okay, you can assume based on the cheskes kashrus, but it's not a bevade. No cheskes kashrus.
Finally, the first smoker in the shir. Very good.
Who's smoking?
Yerman.
I hate being live.
Rabbi, unfortunately, all the Talmidei Chachamim ganovim. You know that.
I was waiting for somebody to say
you,
that.
Rabbi.
Okay. Well, that's what the Gemara says. Until you see him give it back, it's not negeya.
No, but it doesn't mean he didn't take it big neighbor. He took it big neighbor.
Yeah. Okay, weiter. V'amar Mishum Levi. V'chav dalim mekaymes bezdin menadin al kavod harav. There are 24 places where Bezdin put somebody in cheirim because they didn't have proper respect for Rabbanim. But Kulan Shinu Mishnah when they're all taught in our Mishnah. That's what Rabbi Shua Levi said. And the Gemara is going to change from this eventually. Amar le Rabbi Lazar. Heicha Amar le. Where does it say this? So it said, L'chi tishkach. Go find it. Nafak dak v'ashkach tlas. He went out and he found 3 cases where they put somebody in cheirim. First case was Hamazal Zabatilas Yadayim, Vamasaper Achami. Hamazal Zabatilas Yadayim was the first case, which is somebody who did not do Natilas Yadayim properly, right? Which we learned a couple of days ago that you're supposed to travel quite a distance in order to get Natilas Yadayim. Well, I don't know if it was for davening or this is for bread, but either one. The first case is Mazal Zabatilas Yadayim, Vamasaper Achami Tasan Shal Tamida Chachamim, which is why the Gemara brings this case. It's somebody who talks after Talmidei Chachamim after they die. And somebody who literally, it means he mixes his das klape mala opposite Hashem. So now the Gemara is going to go through them. The Gemara did it in a different order than it is. Yeah. It's a small order. First it says Mazal Tzadaim, then Masaper Racham Yitasan, and then Talmud Chacham. So it starts off with Masaper Racham Yitasan Shalomid Chachamim. Mahi Detnan, Hu Haya Omer, Ein Mashkin Leas a Giyaris, Veleas a Meshachreris. You don't went by a saita, right? We know the whole story with saita. If the husband is chaysha the wife, so you give her the drink to drink, and if she was lying, then she blows up. Right, but we don't give a giyaris and a mishachreris, which is similar to a giyaris. That's a slave, a woman who gets freed. Neither one of them gets to drink the drink. Learn from a passuk. Rashi says, "Mashkin." The chacham say that you do give them. There was a maisa with Karkamis who was a shivcha mishachreris in Yerushalayim. V'shkua Shmai Vavtalion, and Shmai Vavtalion gave her the drink. So you see that it's like the chachamim. V'amra lahem, and he said to them, "Dugma hishkua." He said, now there's 2 ways to learn what dugma hishkua is. Right? Rashi says, because Shmai and Avtalion came from Geirim, came from Sacher, so they were Geirim. So therefore, it was just a dimion, right? And Tosfos says no. What they actually did is meaning Rashi says that the reason why they gave her to drink is since she was a Giyaris and they were also Geirim, so therefore they gave somebody that's like them, they gave to drink, and they wanted to treat her like a regular regular Jew. Taisa says that's not what it was. Taisa says they took a fake drink and gave her the drink. Either way, it was a bezayin to Shema Talion. By him saying this, it was a bezayin to them. Benadu, and they put him in cheirim. Umeis beniduyav, and he died when he was in cheirim. V'saklu bezdin es arayne, and bezdin threw stones at his aron, at his what do you call it? Well, back then we don't use an aron, but and at his what do you call it?
Gravestone.
Not his gravestone, the aron,
On the mita.
casket. Thank you. So that's the first case. What's the case of being mezalzel in the Netilas Yadayim? It can't be that Akavi ben Mahalal, who was from the previous case, that's the one they put in cheirim. It's not possible that they put him in cheirim. She'ein Ezra Nenelis, She'ein Azor Nenelis, Ela Al Kol Adam B'Yisrael B'Chacham V'Tara B'Yir of Schei Akavi ben Mahalal. That there was nobody like meaning the Beis Medrash didn't close until Akavi ben Mahalal left, right? Elas min es minadu es Elazar ben Chanoich. So that can't be that they put him in cheirim. They must have put somebody else in cheirim, and that was Elazar ben Chanoich. Shepikpik ben Netilas Yadayim. He wasn't sure about Netilas Yadayim. When he died, Bezdin took a stone and put it on his casket to show that he was in cheirim, to the similarity of skila. No, I don't know skila, but to show that he's in cheirim. They threw with the pre what? Oh, I don't know if that has to do with why we put stones on Koran. I don't know. And the reason why they put the stone on there is to teach you that anybody who's in cheirim and he dies when he's in cheirim, then they throw stones at his arm.
What about nowadays?
What?
Is there any kayach to do that nowadays?
I never heard of anybody doing it nowadays. We don't even have a bezdin nowadays.
Any of that seer or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Kayach.
Yeah. Fine. The third case, Amegas died to klape malo. What is the case of going against what's going on up there? The tran shaluch loy shimon mechad lechayni hamagal. Right? Everybody knows the story of Chayni hamagal. We have to say that story over.
Yes.
Right? He's the one that he was davening for rain, and the rain didn't come. So he told Hashem that I'm making a circle, hence the word ma'agal. I'm making a circle, and I'm not stepping out of the circle until it starts raining. So it rained a little bit. And then he said, no, we need real rain so that you can fill up all the ditches and everything like that. And Hashem made it rain. So Shimon ben Shetach told Chayni hamagal, tzarach atalis nades. Really, you got to be in cheirim. And if it wouldn't be that you be chayni, meaning so chashuv, because I would put you in cheirim. What should I do? You do sins in front of Hashem. But Hashem does whatever you want, just like a father does whatever a son wants, even though the son may not necessarily be behaving. Right? The father and the mother will be happy when and then the kids will be happy. That's it. Okay, so those are the three cases that Rabbi Eliezer found in. Right, was it Rabbi Eliezer? Yeah, I'm sorry, Rabbi Eliezer, who found the three cases of putting in cheirim. So Gemara says Vasuleka, and there are no more. Va'ikah the Tana Rav Yosef Tudus Ishraimi. So Tudus was from Rome. Hinegas b'nei Raimi la'achil gediyim mikolasim b'leil b'sachim. He made everybody make an imitation korban Pesach on Pesach by night. As we all know, we're not supposed to have roasted meat on Pesach by night because it's similar to the korban Pesach, and we might think that you're keeping korban Pesach outside of the Beis HaMikdash, outside when there's no Beis HaMikdash, right? So, but he made them do this anyways, right? So, shalach leishim v'shedach l'mali tudus ata gazerni alecha nidui. If it wouldn't be that you were tudus, I would make you put a cheirim on you. Sha'ata ma'achel es Yisrael kachim b'chutz, because you're making Klal Yisrael eat kachim outside of Yerushalayim, which he really wasn't making them eat kachim, but he was going against the takanos that chacham said, why you're not allowed to eat roasted meat on Pesach by night. So whatever it is, you see, it's a fourth case of cheirim. So the Gemara answers, he was looking for Mishnayos, cases in the Mishnayos, and this is a brisa. So the Gemara says, okay, so we must nisan leka, and there's no more cases of putting somebody in cheirim in the Mishnayos. Let's say you cut up an oven, Right, so an oven is a kli, so it should be makabel tuma. Let's say you cut it up, so now it's no longer makabel tuma, but then you like sort of pasted it together with sand, so they made it into one oven. So Rebbe Eliezer matar, chacham matam. Rebbe Eliezer said it's tahar, and the chacham said it's tamei. V'zeu tanure shel achnoi, and this is called the tanur of achnoi is a snake. My achnoi. What does it mean a snake? They basically surrounded Rebbe Eliezer, and they asked him all sorts of questions. They surrounded him like a snake does, and they made a tummy. The fun of that day, they went and they took anything that Rebbe Eliezer ever paskened on that was tar, and they burned it in front of him. Right? And in the end, they benched him, which means that they put him into cheirim. This story, everybody probably heard this story. This is the machlokes of Rebbe Eliezer and the chachamim, where Rebbe Eliezer said, if I'm right, then let the shema make the river flow backwards, and the river flew backwards. Flowed backwards. And then he said, if the wall fall down, and then if I'm right, and the wall started falling down, and he said, stop the wall, and the wall was, whatever it is, it was very clear that the Shemaim agreed with Rebbe Eliezer, and the Chacham said, Torah lev Shemaimi, the Torah is not in Shemaim, it's a Gemara b'Metzia, and then they put him into cheirim. Whatever it is, so you see, there's another case of cheirim, because he went against all the Chacham. He was a das yachid, he was a lone opinion, and he did not give in to the Chacham. Right? So whatever it is, so they put him into cheirim. Afilu achi nidu b'masnisan lo yitnan, Ella, so we don't have a nidui in the Mishnah because there's no in that story of Eliezer the cheirim did not happen in a Mishnah. It happened as part of the Gemara. The Gemara discusses that story. So then the Gemara says, okay, but either way we don't have 24 places. So right, so Ella b'chavtal mekam is heichim mishkach. So where do you find 24 cases of putting him into cheirim? Rabbi Shua ben Levi medama milsa lemilsa. So no, Rabbi Shua ben Levi didn't mean that to stack 24 actual cases. He just compared different cases. So anytime that basically, he's saying basically there's 24 times in Shas where a tas yachid, one Tana, went up against all the other Tanaim. But Rabbi Elazar, and Rabbi Elazar, who could only find 3 cases in the Mishnayos, was not comparing things to each other. Okay, so that's the discrepancy between 24 and 3. Okay, fine. That is the end of that shtickle Haggadah to Gemara. Now, so we said those that carry the mita and those that they're switching off with, because people hand over the mita from one to the other, so they're all potter from krias and the other mitzvahs. If it's close to the time to read krias, then don't take out the mace. Wait, right? Read krias and then take out the mace. But let's say they already started taking out the mace and then it became Zman Kriya Shema, you don't stop and you miss out on Zman Kriya Shema. The Gemara says, it's not true. Rabbi Yosef Havkuah Samach Kriya Shema. They took out Rabbi Yosef close to Kriya Shema. So what answers, Adam Chashiv Shan, and Adam Chashiv is different, and they would take out even before reading Kriya Shema. Okay, next Gemara. So we said that there's different people carrying the aron or the mita. There's those that are before the mita and those that are after the mita. Those that are being Isaac in a hesped, there's mancha mace mutulufnei, when the mace is in front of them, nishmetu echod v'korin. If then each one by one people slip out from the room where they're doing their spedim in order to go read Kriya Shema. Eina mace mutulufnei, but if they don't have the mace in front of them, meaning either it's before the funeral, well, I guess it's got to be before. It can't be after, because then already they're chayiv. So hein yoshin v'korin, they sit and they read v'hu yoshev v'daimim, and he, meaning the oval, sits quietly. Heim oimdim u'spalin, they get up and they daven. V'hu oimid u'matzdik alav, then he should get up. He's not allowed to daven, so what he should do is he should be matzdik the din, what we always do, tziduk adin, right before the burial, which is just saying that Hashem is a tzaddik and whatever happened is for the good. V'aymer, and this is what he says: Ribayin ha'lamim, right, master of the world, or the worlds, I did many things wrong in front of you, and you didn't take from me, you didn't take payment from me, 1 in 1,000 of what really I should. Right? So basically saying I really deserve a lot worse. that you should build up the pirza, the break that Klal Yisrael is doing, would do it with Rachmanis. Right? So basically he's saying we would deserve a lot worse. Amar Abaya, a person should not say this. Everybody heard this phrase. A person should not open his mouth to the Satan. V'amar Rav Yosef Micro, how do you know this? Shenemar kimat k'sdaim hayinu. In Yeshaya, they said, the Klal Yisrael said, we're almost like Sadaim. That's why we deserve such punishments. Maya hardalu Navi, what the Navi say? Shimu devar Hashem katzine Sadaim. Listen to the word of Hashem, officers of Sadaim. So you see that Klal Yisrael called themselves Sadaim, and then the Navi starts referring to them as Sadaim. Why? Because they opened their mouth, and they called themselves Sadaim. So therefore, Abai is saying you never should say anything negative like that. This is the way we paskin. The Ramah paskins like this in Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Aveilus. There's actually two fascinating things that he says. First thing he says is that when somebody loses a relative, they should not say about themselves that they deserve a lot more punishment than they should, which is something that people do say. But the Ramah says not to say it based on this Gemara because you don't want to open your mouth to the Satan. And another thing the Ramah says, it's not based on this, but he puts it together. He says, what do people say by yeshiva? What can you do? There's nothing. We can't do anything. What are we going to do about this? Right? There's nothing to do. Which he says is because it sounds like you had the option to do something, which is not true. You don't have anything. It sounds like you have potential to take it into your hands if you were able to do something, but you don't. You're not Hashem, right? So you shouldn't by yeshiva say, what can you do? This is the way it is. That's not something that should be said by yeshiva. Okay.
Why does it assume that if somebody meaning Gemara seems to say it's only because we don't want to be out to fellow Satan, but right. Otherwise we would say this.
Oh, very good.
So why would you say
very
that?
Good.
We don't know the ways.
Very good. So the Badei Shulchan brings the Shari Tshuva, which I did not get a chance to look up, who says, but it's the truth, right? Isn't he right?
I don't know. I'm saying, why would he be right?
I'm saying, why would he be right? Because everybody knows there could be better Jews. Everybody knows they could be better. Maybe not you, but most of the rest of us.
It's not about better or not. How do we know that this person...
Nobody's saying, but it's true. I mean, that's the point. He's saying what that the Shari Tshuva is saying is that it's true. This is a true statement. It's not a lie. It's true. I imagine most people at least would think they could be better, and therefore they deserve some punishments, right? But they deserve punishment. So, but you shouldn't say it though. You should not say it out. You could think it, don't say it, because once you open your mouth, the Satan hears it, and it's no good. Not such an old wives' tale, just to say Al Tiftach Fel Satan. I actually saw a Maisa this week from Rav Gamliel Rabinovich said of one of the Gedolim Yerushalayim, who was running to shul, and he slipped on the ice, I think, or he slipped in a hole, and he was in the hospital for a while. So somebody told him what happened to Shulchay Mitzvah and in his and anybody going to do mitzvah doesn't get damaged. He said, yeah, that's true, Shulchay Mitzvah. He says, I'm such a bad guy that really I should have gotten a much bigger punishment. This is just a little slap for what I really deserve. So that's why. Had I not been doing a mitzvah, I would have gotten a much bigger punishment. Okay, whatever it is.
How can you say that?
How could he say it? Maybe that was after the fact, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Right? If they buried the dead and then they're on their way back. So it sounds like only if you can, meaning they're on their way. This is what the Mishnah said. Let's chazan. After the burial, so now when they're walking to do the road, the shura, and when the avel's going to walk through. So the Mishnah says that if you have time to finish the whole shema, then finish it. But if not, then don't start. So the Gemara is saying, only if you have the time to finish all three parshas of krias shema, that's what you do. Does it sound like if you have the chance to do one parak or even one passuk, you shouldn't do it? Or a minute, ask your steer or cover some ace. If you bury the dead and you come back, then you should, if you have the time, you should say even one sentence. So so the Gemara is saying, yes, that's what the Mishnah means. The Mishnah means if you have time to do one passuk, one parak, even one passuk, then do it. The Mishnah does not mean that you have to be able to finish the entire Shema. Right? Okay. Those that are standing in the row. So we said those that are standing on the inner row are potter, and those that are on the outer row not. So now here you'll see a Gemara that that hackers were around for many, many years, and not just today's ADD generation. Derabanan, yeah? Shura haraya panima patura. In the rows, the ones that are in the inside of the row, because that are obviously going to be greeting the aveira face to face, they're potter from shema. Those that can't see the middle, meaning the guys in the back, and those that came there because they feel bad for the oval, those are the guys that don't say krias. But the guys that are there for themselves to see the hak, right? The Rashi says liras is avaira, to see what's going on. So there you're not part of the funeral, so you have to say shema. Even though we learned that you have to participate in a funeral if you see it, right? So, but maybe I don't know if Rashi means that means that those guys are potter or should say shema anyways. Meaning maybe they should, because they're really not part of the mitzvah. I mean, they're a bonus to the mitzvah. Could be, I don't know. Yeah. If anybody has any thoughts on that, feel free to speak up. Amud climb a big. And this is there's a lot of famous Gemaras here. I don't know how Nagea Lamaisa it is, but it's a lot of famous things. So Amud climb a big day. Somebody who finds klayim, shatness, in his clothing. Paishtan afilu b'shuk. So, right, there's a famous thing. You got to take off the clothing even if you're in the street, right? You're walking down the street, somebody comes over to you and tells you that there's shatness on your clothing, you got to just take it right off. That's what the Gemara is saying now. My timer. Ein chachma ve'ein tvuna ve'ein eitzel neged Hashem. There's no chachma and there's no understanding. There's no eitzel neged Hashem. Meaning, you just have to listen to what Hashem says, regardless of what the outcome is. Right? And wherever there's going to be chil Hashem, we don't give any cover to a rav. Yeah? Meaning, basically, you got to keep Hashem's mitzvahs take priority.
What is the chil Hashem? So if you get undressed,
it's going to be a chil Hashem if you don't keep Hashem's mitzvahs.
Not if you get undressed in the middle of the
correct. No, okay. Right? Maybe that too, but you got to keep Hashem's mitzvahs no matter what, even if it's embarrassing. That's the point. I think I was going to ask.
Misafik, we're allowed to strip in public.
Misafik, it doesn't say misafik. It says avadai.
Ah, okay.
No, misafik, you would not. I would think misafik, you don't have to.
Is that parrot?
Yeah.
It's a mitzvah. You put sar to the island part.
Yeah, so mace, they cover with a mace. The chazru, if they went to bury the dead, the chazru, and on their way back, name based drachim. And there's two ways to go home from the funeral. Achas tahir, achas tameya. One is tahar and one is tameh. If the oval decides to go on the road that's gonna be tahar, meaning there's no trees and there's no kvarim, so then you go to tahar. And if he decides to go home, that's gonna make you tameh. So then you become tameh too, mishum kvaide, because of covered for the oval. You want to accompany home, right? Why is he doing this? Meaning, even if you're a kohen, you got to do this, yeah. Why don't we say that there's no chachmas neged Hashem? And if Hashem said you got to do something, so there's no cover to the oval, right? Don't get cover to the oval. So Rav Abba says it's somewhere the base of pras. Derabanan. It's base of pras, which is only usher for a kohen to go into derabanan. Damar Rav Yudam Shmuel. When a person could blow in a base of pras and go. Now, what does that mean? A base of pras is basically where there was a dead person buried in the field, and they plowed the whole field. So they chopped up the dead person into little pieces, and it's spread out throughout the whole field. So we have no idea if there's any. You have to have either a limb, or you have to have a kizai, whatever the shiurim are for a dead person. So you have no idea, because it's ground into this whole field. So you have no idea if it is or it isn't. So we say that a kohen could do is he can get down and he could blow on the ground and see that if he sees nothing there, then he could walk there, right? So we're saying, so with the Rabbanon, it would be allowed because it's not a deraisa. Okay. V'amar of Yehuda bar Ashi.
Yeah, we lost.
Sorry. Yeah, my phone is dying. Yeah. V'amar of Yehuda bar Ashi mishmei derav beis pras shenida shtar. A beis pras that gets totally got stepped over with feet, so it's tar. So therefore, we're saying that was the case where normally we would not want a kohen to go there, but since it's the Rabbanon, and we're saying that so many feet trampled it, so therefore it's gonna be tar, so you could go there. Right, so the whole thing is a big subject. So that's why. But theoretically, if it would become a vadei tumah, then you would not be able. You would not give the cover to the oven. Tashma, another case. We would jump on top of the caskets of mason, likras malchei Yisrael, to go greet the malchei Yisrael, the kings. And not only did they say that you should step on the caskets to go see a Jewish king, you should even go to see a non-Jewish king. So, because if you will be zayker to see Mashiach, you'll be able to tell the difference between Malchei Yisrael and Malchei Akum, which we actually had a reference to this going around 10 blot ago. That we said the similar thing. So now the question is, so why are Kehanim allowed to become Tamei? They're becoming Tamei in order to show respect to kings. Why don't we say that there's no covered when it comes to doing a mitzvah or doing an aveira? When you have tumas oil, as long as there's a tefach that's separating from the tumah to the box that's on top of it, is going to be no problem. If it doesn't have a cholol tefach, then it's not chaytzis b'nei tumah. But roiv aronis yesh ben cholol tefach, and roiv aronis have a tefach. Meaning, what it means like this is, the reason why a kohen can't go over a mace, he's not can't go in a cemetery, even though the mace is 6 feet down, is because it goes up. The tumah goes all the way up until the sky, right? But the Gemara says that if there's a tefach of space in between the mace and whatever's on top of him, then that tefach of space creates a chatzitza, creates a separation, and therefore it doesn't go up, right? So why don't they do that? Yeah. I don't know why they don't do that, but this is part of one of the things that they wanted to allow Kehanim to fly on El Al when they go in Eretz Yisrael, because they would say maybe there's a tefach of space, and then there's a tefach of space between the aron and the plane, and all sorts of stuff like that. Whatever it is.
That why in Israel they put the bricks, maybe?
I don't know, because I don't think they dafka put the bricks that there's a tefach. I'm not sure.
What about the casket?
I think they put the bricks because they don't want it. It's not right to throw dirt straight on the mace. So you put something there to block it. That's the way I understood it.
Well, what about the wooden box? That's not a tefach?
So it depends how fat the mace is and how big the box is. That's the truth, right? Okay, but how you apply the applications of this case are complicated. But what the Gemara is saying here is that the Kehanim didn't become Tamei.
The box deteriorates.
What? That's true. That's a good point. Also, the box deteriorates. In Eretz Yisrael, you ever saw a burial in Eretz Yisrael? No, okay, so then that's what you don't know.
I don't know.
You can't have Chaver Kaddish in Eretz Yisrael. That's all.
You put a brick on top of them?
Yes.
Where do they put the brick?
They put in the mace on the ground, and then they cover it with these bricks, and then they throw dirt on top of that. They sort of create like a little grave in there, and then okay.
Why was that a plug for your wood thing?
For what?
Trying to make a plug for his wife's wood thing. Maybe he's gonna make special ones that don't deteriorate.
Oh, I didn't know he was getting into that business.
All my wood products will deteriorate on their ground.
Okay. Okay. Umashum kavin malachim like Azabaravan. So for respect for malachim, they did not make it zera. Fine. Now another case. Tashma gadol covered abrias shadaychas leises Torah. A famous line. Right. Covered abrias is daycha leises in the Torah. Right. Now, how could you say that covered abrias means respect for creation? Meaning, if somebody's going to be embarrassed, so we're going to say that you don't have to do mitzvahs. And now, not that you don't have to do mitzvahs. So you can do a loisa set. So the Gemara thinks that's a real legitimate loisa set. So the Gemara says, Rav Shava, Kamedu Rav Kana, Balav de Loisasar. It's talking about the lav of Loisasar. Now, the lav of Loisasar means do not turn away from the Rabbanon, which is meaning every Isser derabanan is considered an Isser deraisa because of Loisasar. Since the Torah says don't turn away from what your rabbis tell you, so if you turn away from what your rabbis tell you, you automatically have an Isser deraisa, right? So the Gemara is thinking now that it's really issurei derabanan, that if you're covered up rias, you can be Isser derabanan. So achichu alei, they laughed at him. Lav the loisasas deraisa, but the lav of loisasas deraisa. So that means you are telling somebody to be over an Isser deraisa to save face. That would be the way of saying it. So Amar Rav Kana, Gavra Rabba, Amar Milsa Leisechichu there. Somebody big said something. Don't laugh at him. Kol mili derabanan asmechinu alav deloisasa. What it means is every isur derabanan they were assigned it. They leaned it on the lav loisasa. But built into the lav loisasa is that if the chachamim tell you don't have to keep this particular isur that we made, then that's built into loisasa. So therefore it didn't apply in that case. So in the cases of covered abrius, the chacham said, okay, you don't have to keep our isur, right? Meaning again, built into the power that the chachamim have to tell you not to do something, it also gives them the power to say in scenario A, B, C, because it's embarrassing, then you don't have to keep it. Rashi says two of the big cases of it, which is, where is it? Where are the cases? Oh yeah, so if you have to go to the bathroom on Shabbos and you need rocks to clean yourself, so even though rocks are normally muksa, we waived it because it's covered abrius. It's not right if you're not able to clean yourself after the bathroom. That's one case. And if the tzitzis break on Shabbos, right, if they get ripped, yeah, in a carmelis, not in a Rosh Hashanah deraisa. If it's a Rosh Hashanah deraisa, you got to take the tzitzis off. But if it's in a carmelis, which is a no man's land, somewhere, something between private property and public property, then the chacham said you don't have to take them off. Agav, the eitzah, if your tzitzis ever gets, if the eitzah for this, I don't know why the Gemara doesn't bring it, but the eitzah the place can say is if your tzitzis become puzzle, you make them hefker. Once you make them hefker, they're not yours. Okay.
But that Rashi says is only if you're going to walk around without any clothing on.
Correct. Yes. If you have
clothing, then you should take them off. No.
Yes. If you have other clothing, then you could take them off. Yes, 100%. You should take them off. Fine. So that's that case. Toshma v'salam temehem, and you should. You should. It literally means forget. This is that really you're not allowed to. You can't just say, "Oh, I didn't see that money on the floor. I'm not interested in the headache of returning it." No, you have to pick it up. Yes, sometimes you should forget the aveira that's lost, the lost object, and sometimes you shouldn't. If he's a kohen and the aveira is in a base of kvaris, or he's an elderly person, and it's not respectful of him to bow down, just to get down on the floor and pick up whatever it is that's lost. Or you get paid a lot of money per hour, and you see something that belongs to somebody who it's not really worth your time to go pick it up. That there the passuk says that you can forget it and you can ignore the aveira. So what do we say? What do you mean? You have a mitzvah deraisa to do hashavas aveira because it's not respectful for you. It's below your dignity to not pick it up. What?
Beneath you.
Thank you. It's beneath you to pick it up, so therefore you're not gonna pick it up. Shani Hasam. So the Gemara says So Gemara says Shani Hasam this salam. No, there it says in the passuk that you should ignore it. So meaning there the passuk says in itself ignore it. So therefore we say that you can ignore it. So why don't we learn out from there to everything else? We can't learn out an isur from money. So therefore, we can't learn out from there to any other cases. Toshma.
Why did they come on to the whole in this that says not
because it doesn't. It has to come at the same time. I say it has to come at the same time, like a mila. If there's a mila with a tzara, so you're allowed to do the mila because the essay is dark. Okay. The Toshma ula chaysai. When it says a kohen become tummy to his sister when he has to go to her funeral. So
yeah. But we're not supposed to make cheshbonos on mitzvahs in general, though. We don't know what's a chashiv mitzvah, what's a low mitzvah.
That's true. So what do you say?
So what do you mean? It's an actual value. The difference between going ahead if this is a value not worth my time. That's what we're saying, like an actual value.
Yeah. It's not worth his time. Yeah.
Even though it might be worth someone else, it might be something that's expensive for another person.
Correct. Now, maybe he should make him a donation. That I don't know.
Well, because it's going to cost him money. You have to reimburse the guy.
If you want to do it on his animal, If you find something, if someone leaves something behind, it takes up space in your storage facility. You have to still pay that money to keep it until he comes back for it. It's going to cost you money.
The person has to reimburse you for that.
Yeah, that's
the
why
owner has to reimburse you. It's going to cost them more money.
Right. If it's a cow or it's a chametz and it's getting lost and whatever it is, then you sell it, and then the guy's got to take it on. That's why it becomes a whole shiloh. If it's becoming too expensive to keep, so you get rid of it and then you figure out the worth. But that's not exactly this case. Here, this case is just below him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The same thing with respect. What? It's below my dignity to pick something up, so therefore somebody should lose out because of that.
Right.
Yeah. It's a weird. I can't say I fully understand it. What should I tell you? Right. But there is such a concept in Yiddishkeit. There's not doing things that are beneath you. Halavai. People should keep that in many other areas. It would be pretty helpful, especially with all those that are on vacation in Florida. Yeah, you hear everybody, all those Floridians and Vegas and all that stuff. All right? Don't do anything that's beneath you. All right, Tashima. Right, it says to the sister, what does it teach you? Somebody's going to shech the korban pesach or to give his son a bris, and he heard that there's a mace. So you would think that you should go back and become tummy, and in which case you're going to have a problem, right? So amrit lo yitame. So we say you don't become tummy. So we say don't become tummy to the close relative, because then you're not going to be able. You're going to have a problem. So then the Gemara says, okay, so does that mean that you're not matama in anything, even a mace mitzvah? You shouldn't become tummy to the sister of matama mace mitzvah. You should become tummy to a mace mitzvah. Why do we say? What do you mean? Why? You're doing it to respect the mace mitzvah who has nobody else to bury it, but they're going to be over on the isser. Shani Hasam, one answers there is different. It says a passuk that says ula chaysay, which teaches you don't become tummy to your sister, but you should become tummy to somebody else. So it's a fairish passuk that tells you not to listen to the normal halacha in that situation. So the Gemara says, okay, so v'ligmar mina, why don't you learn from it? And this is probably one of the most important issurei you can understand about issurei derabanan. You want to answer shev al tasa shani. Sit and not doing is different than anything else. Meaning, how could it be, and then Rashi goes through these examples, how could it be that chachamim say that don't blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah if it's Shabbos, and don't take lulav and esrog if it's Shabbos? How can they tell you to do that if the Torah says to take it? Right? The Torah doesn't say not to take it on Shabbos. The chachamim said, right? They're telling you not to do something from the Torah. The answer is because those are sheva al tases. The chachamim would never tell you to actively get up and be, I guess, proactive and do something against the Torah. You're allowed to tell you, don't do a mitzvah, right? In that case, they're allowed to sheva al tases. I mean, sit and don't do anything, right? If the chachamim felt it was important to do that, so then that's okay, right? But here, by the tumah, they are telling you to get up and become tummy, right? They're telling you for a mace mitzvah, get up and become tummy. So that's what the Gemara means. That's what the Gemara is telling you, that the only reason they're able to do that is because it says ula chaysay. So therefore, the passuk is telling you in this situation, go against the normal halacha. But otherwise, the only time chachamim could change the rices is if it's shev al tasa. They will never say that you should get up and do something against the Torah. Okay. That's all for tonight, folks.
Did you quote Rabbi Parra or talk about Rabbi Parra taking off his pants in the middle of his Musar drasha?
Yes, Rabbi Parra, yes. That's a Navardic thing. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different
story. But I was saying, but that was the whole point of Ein Chacham, Ein Tfuna. No?
Okay.
For those who are using the art scroll Gemara, you got like 9 blot left till you need the next one.
Okay.
So,
never had enough time.
Yeah, but there's no discount on it. But it was smart. They gave the discount $19 on the first one.
I hear you.
So I'm looking for like Rechnitz or somebody to say they'll sponsor the second one.
Right, the digital one
or not. You see this?
Download it, bro.
Yeah. All right. Fine, Eddie.